Welcome to another episode of The Key Lies Within. In today's episode, I will be talking about my hair journey and how oftentimes big hair changes is synonymous with life changes. And so I'm gonna go through the timeline of my hair journey and then the purpose of different decisions to make hair changes, and then ultimately why I chose to lock my hair. First thing is I want to just go into my hair journey. So now I'm almost about 32. So we can say a 30-ish year hair journey because I'm sure I didn't have much hair in the first couple. Well, not that I didn't. Not guessing. I didn't have much hair probably in the first year of my life. So that's why I say 30-ish, right? So probably until probably about age 9 or 10, I didn't have any relaxer in my hair or any mechanism that would chemically change the texture of my hair, right? So my mom would use a hot comb. So not the traditional classic one, not the first one where you would have to put the hot comb on the stove to heat it up, like the next generation where they actually put electric, figure out a way to put an electric cord and you can plug it into an outlet. My mom would straighten my hair probably the first 10 years of my life, and she would put braids in my hair, like plaits. So she'll put plaits all over my hair, and then she'll put a bow at the top and a bow at the end. And then after she started French braiding my hair, she'll do like braids like this, and then she'll do braids in the bag. I wear the hairstyle a lot, and then she'll do like plaits and stuff with the balls that you can put at the base of it and twist it around and stuff like that. And then eventually I evolved to like roller wraps once I became more of a teenager, because especially when I was younger, things are different now. I'm only speaking when I was younger, like in the early 2000s. A roller wrap, especially to like women my mama age and older, was deemed like a big girl hairstyle. So if you don't know what a roller wrap is basically where you set your hair with rollers. So you roll your hair all over with the rollers, you put some mousse or some setting lotion on it so it can be wet, and then you roll it, and then you sit under a dryer, and then your hair is going to be real curly. And then so to maintain the curliness and the body of your hair, you use a brush and you wrap it around your head until like it's flat, and then you tie it up at night. And then when you wake up in the morning, all you have to do is comb it down, and it typically will keep the body in your hair as long as you didn't sweat too bad or get your hair wet. You will have that body, I guess, maybe a week or so. I don't really remember how long it lasts, but typically that hairstyle was kind of like a big girl hairstyle. So I didn't really start getting roller wraps until I was like maybe 12ish. I guess between 11 and 12, but before that it was braids, it was ponytails. My cousin's braid hair, so it'd be like braids with weave or synthetic hair. I remember one year, like the year Alicia Keys came out, I think what her debut single was 2001 maybe. But when she came out and she had those integral braids to the scalp, and they were long and they had beads on it. I remember having those braids. My oldest cousin doing me and my little cousin hair like that. But I've had a lot of braid hairstyles. I have multiple cousins that used to braid my hair when I was younger, because that wasn't my mama forte. Now she's picked up the skill a little more now. With that, probably I guess about age 10, I started to get relaxers. From age 10 to I guess about 20, age 10 to maybe, let's say 20, maybe 21, let's say 20, to about age 20, 19, right? And so my journey with relaxers were horrible. I didn't like relaxers though. That has been the best thing that I have done for my hair, is ditching the relaxers, because it is such a traumatic experience for me, And so now you kind of see like some of the damaging effects of it, with a lot of women having health issues and certain cancers that's springing up because relaxers that they use religiously back in the day. And so I started to get relaxers, and I hated the fact that you couldn't scratch because the lye in it will burn you so bad, and it feels like the little grease stuff that came in to kind of prep your hair to kind of alleviate some of the burning and the itching. It felt like it never worked. And so I remember getting relaxed. My mama relaxed my hair in the beginning. She used to use just for me, and then she would use Motions, and I think pretty much that was the brand she used. And then like when I eventually went to a hairstylist, she would use whatever, I guess, professional relaxer that she was using. I can't remember it. Oh, I do remember, it was Manzini. I think it's like in a brown container, but that product I think is still on the market today. And so my mama would do my relaxers, and my hair would come out over processed. And then a family friend relaxed my hair for a little bit. She used to burn my scalp. She used to chemically burn my scalp because my hair is very thick. I have very thick hair, and so the ideal with a lot of people with getting relaxers, you gotta have that hair bone straight, right? And so she would leave it in longer than she should have, and every time she would give me a relaxer and she would style my hair, and my hair would be matted to my scalp. No lie, matted. And then over time, it's matted because it scabs. It scabs because it's wounds, it's chemical burns, it's burned. And then it would start oozing after a little bit, after a few days, and I just hated it. And I was so glad she stopped doing my relaxers. And then after that, my mama went back to relaxing my hair. And then when I was in, I guess maybe junior high school, we went to hairstyle. No, before that, my cousin, who was a cosmetologist, I don't remember relaxing my hair, but I remember her cutting my hair. Like she cut my hair into a taper. So like the back was tapered, but the front had a little length in it. And she used to have this iron. I don't even know what the name of it is. I think I maybe heard oven. I think somebody may have called it Murphy oven recently, but I'll pin all that stuff if it's not accurate. But it was an oven, and then you had like all across the top, it was like different size curling rods. And what you do, they were metal curling rods. So you'll take the curling rod out and you'll put it in this oven, and then it heat it up, and then you curl the hair. And so when my cousin would do my hair, she had that. You know, I believe she still has that to this day.
To this day.
And you know, she may have just changed the oven out, but she still had those original rods that she had like in the early 2000s. I'm sure of it. And so she'll curl my hair with that, and then every time I go back to her, she was cutting my hair, and I'm like, how's my hair gonna grow out if you keep cutting it? But then once I started going to the the hairstylist that was working out of a shop, because my cousin has always been a hairstylist and a cosmetologist. But when I went to somebody in the shop, you know, I kept the short haircut, and she'll relax it and style it. And then I will find the same thing. When I go to her, I'm like, this lady cuts my hair every time. How's my hair gonna grow? You know, they keep cutting it. And so what I think was actually happening is my hair had this weird relationship with relaxers. What would happen is if I didn't get a relaxer within a certain time period, my hair would start breaking off. Imagine that. So if every 2 months I was slated to get a relaxer, if I go a week too late without getting a relaxer, my hair would severely break off. Like break off really bad. And so I think that's some of the reason why they kept cutting it, even though, you know, hairstylists are notorious for getting scissor happy. It's just another thing, right? But I kept going back, and then I eventually got my hair dyed. I don't even remember. I think I was going for a reddish orange kind of color, but it kind of came out a little more orangey than red. But it was a cute color. And then of course, ultimately it broke off really bad because of the hair dye. And like in between relaxers and stuff, I just do my own hair. We had curling irons and stuff like that. So I had my little mousse, and I mousse my hair down and let it dry, and then I style it from there. So that's how I maintain my hair. And it could have been the heat from the curling irons and the flat irons too that kind of escalated the hair breakage too. So I did get my hair colored. I loved it. I was in college at that point. I loved it. It broke off, and so pretty much I just kept going back for a relaxer, just doing a routine thing. And then about 2011, I was like, I'm tired of getting relaxers. And then at that point, you know, the natural hair movement was starting to break off. Well, it was probably breaking off probably a couple of years prior, but like at that time, like I had cousins that was starting to go natural, and I'm like, oh, I like that. And so, you know, I was like, I'm not getting no relaxer anymore, because at that point I think I was paying like $60 to get my hair relaxed and styled. And then I really didn't like going to a hairdresser. You know, it's just, you know, it's not a very peaceful place, right? You know, those who have been to a hairdresser, you know, it's loud, and sometimes you don't get in that chair on time, depending on how the hairstylist may be going with time with the previous client. Even if you get there on time, it's loud, just a lot of gossip and stuff like that. You know, it was just a little too noisy for me, and I hated sitting on the hair dryers. And then, you know, I was like, I could just keep my money. I could just keep my money and go natural. And so what I did was I transitioned. So instead of doing a big chop, I just stopped relaxing my hair and allow the natural hair to grow, and allow my hair to grow out a good bit until I had maybe not that much straight hair left. And then I had my mama cut off the straight ends, and I was natural. And so in the transition period, I do hairstyles like where I curl my hair and just wear curls, because that's the easiest kind of hairstyle to do when you're transitioning. Because a lot of the cute natural hairstyles where you can do like the double twist to the scalp, do just the twist hanging, a lot of those won't hold, because if the ends are straight and it don't have that coily texture, it's not gonna stay. So I did like I used like those perm rods that they use for jerry curls. I used to use that, curl my hair, and then I pick it out. So I have like little curly hair. Then I will put a headband on and push it up and wear like a little puff and stuff like that. And then maybe once my hair fully transitioned and I was 100% natural, I would start doing so many different hairstyles. I would do like flat twists, different ways. And then if I seen a hairstyle that my hair wasn't long enough, I'll modify it to compensate my hair length. I would do updos. I just got really creative. It was a really fun time with my hair. I just got super creative. And then I got to a period where I started to see like cousins with locks, and I really liked how they looked, and it felt like it was like a spiritual journey that was always associated with locks. And my biggest inspiration for wanting to get locks is the story of Samson in the Bible, where his strength is in his hair. And that was always an inspiring story to know that, you know, your hair can be, you know, this man had so much physical strength, and it was all in his hair. Imagine that. It was in the hair that grew naturally out of his head. He was a very strong man. He killed the lion. You know what I'm saying? It was just an inspiring story. And it felt like at that time I was in period where I was getting more self-aware of just myself, like how I thought, how I processed things, how I interacted with other people, why I was doing all those things. And so it just felt fitting that I would that big transition will come with a big hair transition. And so 2016, I decided to lock my hair. I found this lady, that was her specialty. She did loose natural hair, but pretty much all her clientele were people who had locks. And she used to have she has had a couple of seasons with locks where she had the locks and she cut her hair like, you know, she wore her hair really, really low. She would put all these different crazy colors in it and stuff like that. Her name was Miss Joe. And she started my locks and she educated me a lot about how to care for my locks and how to maintain them and things to do while I was in the process of getting my hair to actually lock. Because originally I wanted sister locks. Went to find somebody who did sister locks and it was like an outrageous amount of money. And I'm like, wow, that is a lot of money to get sister locks. So I opted to get the regular locks because Miss Joe, she charged me like, I think maybe between $60 to $80 to start them. And then I would go back pretty frequently. Just so, because she was kind of accelerating the locking process. So like when I first went to her, she was like, this is what we're gonna do. You know, I'm a, you know, palm twist, like, you know, she will wash my hair every time. She'll wash it really good, she'll steam it, and then the palm twist all over my hair. And then while I was, you know, outside of my appointment in my everyday life, you know, she told me just to make sure I just occasionally palm twist them and stuff. Not too tight, but just to kind of, you know, train the hair. And then what she would do is every time I went back, she would almost like brush them out. And at first when she told me that, I'm like, how the heck is it gonna lock if she's gonna comb them out every time? And so, but what she was doing is like roughing up my hair. So that kind of made it lock faster. And then, so I went through all the stages, you know, they got longer, they were little bitty ones, they got longer, they started budding. Like when they get really thick, that's really like when you officially start locking, when they start budding and kind of getting kind of thick. And then eventually I did add color to my locks. They were fine. I didn't have any issues with any breakage or anything. But since my hair had been at that point, you know, all the hair from me dyeing it the first time, all that was gone. So pretty much, you know, I'm dyeing on pretty much undyed hair. And so it's super dark like it is now. And so the color didn't really take like I like it, but it was still fine. And then I still have like, it's kind of like a brownish black because some of it's still growing out, but like all my new hair is like a dark brown with gray. I have gray hair since I was like 12, right? And so that has been, oh, and then like in 2021, I cut my locks. So like the length that they are now is where they were when I cut them. So now they've grown back to that length. And so now I'm not gonna cut them no more. And yeah, so that has been my hair journey. And then the products that I use along the way. So like when I was younger, like I said, my mom used that hot comb and then she used to put Blue Magic grease on my head. And then when I started getting my hair relaxed, it'll be, you know, the different relaxers. And then grease was always involved. I always had grease on my scalp. If it wasn't Blue Magic, I think at some point my mom started using that new growth on my hair. And then when I went natural again, well, when I went natural after having relaxers, I used pretty much every natural hair product that was on the market at that time. And I was afforded the opportunity to even do that from a brand called Curl Box. So, you know, recently the owner has dissolved the company, but it was such a game changer back then because I think I got maybe 6 boxes and, you know, pretty much you'll sign up to be on the list and then you'll pay $20 every month. And every month you would get a box of, I guess, about 3 to 6 products, and they always included the full products. You may have gotten a few sample products, but a lot of the products was the full size. And so you would get the full size product, natural hair products. And then at that time, all of the natural hair products were all black owned at that point. You know, they hadn't started to sell them off or anything. So they were black owned natural hair products from Shea Moisture. I don't know if organic root stimulator is black owned. I'll check on that one. But they had that brand in there. I don't remember like Miss Jessie being in there or Carol's daughter. But I remember there being a lot of different natural hair care products in there. And so probably I did the subscription probably like 6 months because once 6 months came, I had a lot of products at that point. I had a lot of products and I was able to try different things to see how my hair reacted to it, if the moisture stayed in my hair, if it didn't, if once I washed my hair with the shampoo, how did it feel? And I was able to find products that actually worked on my hair. And so like Shea Moisture worked, especially that cream that's in the line that's orange. that worked for me styling my hair. Actually, the moisture stayed in my hair a lot. And then like organic root stimulator used to have, what they still do, they have this hair lotion that works really well on my hair. And so pretty much what I would do, the stuff that worked, I would then go on to buy this, keep buying additional bottles of it. And it was pretty much a cost savings thing, because if you think about it, if I did 6 months for $20 a box, that put it like at $120, right? And think about it, it comes out way cheaper than buying a whole line of that one product, because a lot of times when they do make products, they do design it where the effects you're supposed to have from it is coming from them testing the full product line on people, not just trying the twisting butter and stuff like that. So think about if you want to try a line and you're purchasing the conditioner, the shampoo, the moisturizer, the oil, all those sets, you're going to come out way more than $120 in a month. You know what I'm saying? How often you're doing that. So this was spread over 6 months. So so it was very cost savings. It was such a perfect thing to have. And while it's cool that she's moving on to other things, but Curl Box really was a big blessing to natural hair and people who needed those natural hair products, and making it cost savings and actually advertising for those business and people being partial to certain brands. Because I used to use Shea Moisture all the time, like just Shea Moisture shampoo, the like the butter. Like I was just using them at one time, just like at one time I was just using organic root stimulator on my hair. So it kind of builds like a loyalty up too for those brands, because if you like their product line, you're like, oh, I need to go try something else if this is working, so I'm gonna just re-up on this. And then so for my locks, I use oil, water in my hair, some moisturizers, but a lot of it I just use regular natural hair products. I've used that brand that's like Jamaican lock or something. I've used that before. I really don't like to retwist my hair with any products, because it ends up causing buildup, and I don't want buildup. And pretty much, and then I also use the shampoo and the conditioner from Trader Joe's with peppermint in it. I like that really well. But it's no specific thing that I use for my locks. I'm just very conscious about not loading a lot of products on them, and making sure I'm washing them and properly drying them so that they don't have odor on them. And so retwisting versus interlocking. So I used to retwist my hair probably every month and a half, because what I would do is I retwist it and then I retwist it until a style, because that's the only way it's gonna last. Because I found out very early on that once you start sweating, it's gonna unravel. And so a couple of years after I had my locks, I started seeing interlocking, and I watched a bunch of videos on it. I became well informed on the technique, and then I started to interlock my hair. And pretty much what the interlocking is doing is like you interlock it, you take your lock and you interlock it in 4 or 2 different directions. And then what it does is it creates, like, for the lack of better words, like kind of like a knotting situation, but you don't visibly see the knot, but it's like it creates a knot. So it takes all your new growth and it locks it into the shaft of your lock, and it kind of knots it in, right? And then that way you don't have to really do maintenance on your hair other than washing for probably, like, you only have to do it like twice a year, because you don't want to do the interlocking until you have a lot of new growth. So it's not something you're going to be doing on a regular basis. And that helped me tremendously, because it allows me to do something that's more lasting. And probably like maybe 4.5 months, it started getting a little rough after 4.5 months, but I just stick it out just so I kind of stay within that January and June time period to do it. So if I haven't done it by June, I know I need to do it. And so it kind of keeps my hair looking way neater, and then it's less management of it throughout the year. But the actual interlocking process is pretty timely. It takes me hours to do it. Now I've gotten a little faster with it, but it's not like something you want to rush through. But it's worth it. Usually I will get up early and do it like first thing, because usually I have a momentum, like either for if I start the back of my head or the front of my head. But then once I'm getting to like that last part, my momentum start breaking down. But I do prefer that. And then I would suggest, if you do have locks and you are thinking about interlocking, I would say definitely look into plenty of videos, educate yourself on the technique, so that you don't do it incorrectly. Because if you do it incorrectly, you can end up creating holes in your locks versus knots in your locks if you're doing it the wrong direction. And then for me, I haven't went to a stylist in a very long time, because once I learned how to do my hair myself, I'm like, I can just do it myself, right? And then when I was loose natural, I would put what is it, synonymous twist in my hair, and that was my go-to. Like when I didn't want to really have to manage my hair, I would put a twist in it. And before that, my cousin would braid my hair, but sometimes it would just be difficult trying to catch up with her. So I'm like, I need to learn to do this myself, so when I need it done, I don't have to go look for somebody. And so like one of my other cousins, I asked her, how do I start a braid on my hair? And she showed me, and I was like, boom, I was good after that, right? So the biggest part of my self journey has been figuring out myself too, how to do things after maybe I've gone to somebody else who had more experience, and that has kind of allowed me to care for my own hair and be educated before I just dive into caring for my hair in that way, right? So now the purpose of this video is for me to emphasize like how hair change can be synonymous with life change. So there is great value on hair, especially with women and more especially with Black culture. The hair is just such a iconic thing, is revered highly, and oftentimes there are you kind of get pushback when you do certain things to your hair that may not be culturally or like within your family, that may be like, why are you changing your hair, especially if you cut your hair. I don't know what it is about Black people and cutting hair and the length of your hair being a big deal, but it just is, right? That's why I think that's the reason why a lot of Black women do wear very long extensions and things like that, because it's just something about long hair and what is deemed as good hair, which crazy concepts. But anyway, so the reason the hair change is so synonymous with life changes is because when you feel like you are ready to let go of something in your life, or there is a transition happening in your life, a lot of people will result to a drastic hair change. So, some people may cut all their hair off, some people may change the color of their hair, and some people like me will change the permanent styling of their hair. So, you may lock your hair if it's loose natural, or if you still, have relaxer. So it will be some type of drastic change. And a lot of it is, with the hair, it's like, just like with big life changes, you gotta let something go for that big life change to happen. You can't hold on to it, or you'll be in your own way for that change happening, right? So a big hair change is like a renewal, and it's like the push for that renewal kind of starts internally, where you feel like something missing. I have X, Y, and Z, and it's still something that is not happening, right? And so like boom, I think I need to change my hair up, because changing your hair kind of brings a different vibe of like self-assurance. Like, I got this, I can step into this space, this new energy space, and I could be a new person and embrace everything that comes with it and be more confident entering into this new space, right? And then that creates a sense of liberation. Like, I'm freeing myself through this big hair change, which is synonymous with the life change. You make the hair change to then catapult the life change, right? And then the last point is unleashing that different energy. So it's like usually big changes shapes us in a different way, because you're not going to be the same with this big change that happened. And it could be you move into a new city, you may have some misfortune, and you have family members pass that you go through, and you have to create a new sense of normalcy after that. Something else traumatic happening, career changing, coming out of your box, and breaking through certain things. That big change creates a new energy, and it gives you a sense of, I can do this in a way that you may have not even thought to do before this big change, right? So like a lot of people, my hair journey has been that, like, me locking my hair has been synonymous with me feeling like I was coming into a big transition in my life, where I was becoming more self-aware of what I was doing, why I was doing this, why am I here at this period of time, and what is it that's happening within me. And then like going natural, after having relaxes after so long, that was a transitional period too. I was probably like 19 or 20, where it's like, I want to own my hair process. I don't want to have damaged hair, because that's a part of your health. I don't want my hair to be breaking off or having to put this chemical in my hair just to make it quote unquote manageable or more desirable. Your hair is synonymous with how you are progressing in your life, how you choose fit to show up in the world, right? So with that being said, I know oftentimes it is said like, your hair doesn't make you, it doesn't define you, but you can definitely take back that control and allow your hair to be a statement for you, to speak for you, speak for your personality, speak for your spirit, and not be wrapped up in social norms about what hair should or shouldn't be, even if it's your family or loved ones around you. So as always, I hope that this conversation finds you well, and if it doesn't, I pray that you find a way to navigate through whatever experience you are having today, and use this conversation to speak with family members, to do some self-work, to become more self-aware about how you change in response to your hair, what kind of things you feel like your hair mean for you, what kind of things you may be carrying based on what the meaning of hair was instilled for you, and just take back control of what your hair means and what and how you want to be in the world with your hairstyle, with your hair texture, with your hair color. And then if you would like to continue this conversation, just leave a comment down in the below the video or in Spotify, and we can continue this conversation and expand on it. I am excited to hear you all's thoughts, and thank you for tuning in, and I pray that your day is full of just happiness, bliss, and you figuring out the things you need to do to further project your life and your time here on this earth and your purpose. Bye.